Hey friends, so today we're going to be changing out the dust bag for the first time on this Festool CT 36E. I've had it for under a year now. I got it in January. Mainly use it for the miter saw, but I also have a Rotex over here that I sand with. And it really didn't have any problems until I started doing kerf cuts. It was just, every cut was just producing a lot of sawdust, and the suction on the Festool Dust Extractor was getting pretty poor. So I looked it up and it said that the first cause for that is pretty much your dust bag is going to be too full. So let's take this off and see what it looks like. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the hose here. I already disconnected it from the K-pack, so we'll just get that out of the way. And then we got to push this, I believe, to pull that down. I'm going to unplug it, and then we're going to wheel this out so that we can get to it a little bit easier. So this just wheels here. This is the box of the bags. Unfortunately, it's $53 or $58 after tax for 5 of these. You're kind of going to get razzle-dazzled there. That's the Festool experience. However, like I said, I did have this first bag last for about a year. Thousands of cuts, and it was really not until I started doing the kerf cuts that I started to notice that the dust was building up and not getting sucked up as much. So this is what it looks like out of the box. We got a pack of 5 here in a band. Already took one out. Now I'm going to put on a mask because I don't want to breathe this in. The whole point of having a dust extractor and dust collection in general is to keep it out of your lungs. So I'm going to go ahead and put on a respirator here. So here I'm just undoing the clips on the side, and the top pops right off, and then the HEPA filter is underneath that, but we'll get to that in a second. So the dust bag here, I'm just doing this in real time. I didn't look at any instructions. Not to humble brag, but just wanted to give a real look at figuring this out for the first time. So there's this pull tab here that I remember seeing, and that closes off the hole so that the dust doesn't go flying everywhere. And I'm really glad that they have this, because I had just changed the bag on my rigid vacuum, and the second you touch the bag and pull it off, that dust goes flying right out of the hole. So I really appreciate Festool and their ability to look at the whole process and just make it pretty easy and clean. And then that bag is made out of a very good material, which I also appreciate because, again, going back to the rigid bag that I pulled out, as I was pulling it out, it ripped on the vacuum. So you can tell it's a higher end material, which is going to make the cleanup experience as enjoyable as it can be, if we're being honest. So here I'm just kind of folding it out. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do this, but then I was putting the cardboard hole over the intake tube, and then there's a little green tab that you pull over the cardboard tab to lock it into place. If you know Festool, then you know anything green typically does something important. Best to figure out what it's doing, but there it is installed. I was hoping that this part would be in frame, but I'm just checking out the HEPA filter, and you just pull down a green lever to pull it out. And I was going to vacuum this, but I wanted to bring it in and show you because I don't even think I need to vacuum it. I sit here, I'm playing with the ridges here, and there's really no sawdust coming out. So this is pretty clean for 9 months of use. I don't know what you would have to do in order to need to replace this, which is good because those are extremely expensive. You think the $60 bags are pricey, wait until you have to replace that HEPA filter. But you can see I'm kind of struggling to pull that green lever back out. That has to be out in order to put the filter back in the top compartment. So that was a little tricky, but I eventually got it. And then I'm just vacuuming out the bottom of this. It was actually completely clean until I set it down on my dirty shop floor, so I'm just cleaning that off. But I was actually really impressed with how there was no sawdust in the top of that. The bag is keeping that dust completely contained and away from the HEPA filter, which means it's keeping it out of the air in the wood shop, which is the big goal. So that's a big thumbs up in my opinion. And now we're just hooking the top back on and the extractor's ready to go again. This whole process only took about 3 minutes from start to finish. Okay friends, so I wanted to do a quick follow-up and let you know that the bag is what was causing the lack of suction. And once I changed that, put the new bag in there, I've got full suction power back. I was able to get into every nook and cranny and clean it up. So if you're having an issue where you're noticing a lack of suction in your dust collector, change the bag. Let me know if that worked for you. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate if you could give me a thumbs up and follow along. Got a lot of content coming on this channel, so if you have anything you want to see, let me know. Thanks for watching, everybody.